It's also very useful to have the eye itself, so we can shape the eyelid to wrap around the eye sphere. Also, the smoothing groups I made help me select the different areas that I need much quicker and isolate the eye. Also, the eyes I'm using here, they're facing forward. In real life, your eyes face slightly outwards, so your character might look like he's has some problems in his eyesight, but it will look correctly once the eyes are rigged and they're looking in the right direction. Working on the eyebrow, it's quite a tricky area, also because we do not have any eyelashes, which are quite important and help define the eyebrow structure, so you have to take into account where they will be once we make them. And then the overall relationship of the eye with the rest of the face, and the line that the eye makes, the eye outline, it's very important. You can also just pick up the concept, put it as a background, and just follow it exactly, and it should work okay. So now that we've focused on the eyes, nose, lips, and ears, we go back to the character, and we're going to try to match it once again to the concept art. And this time, since we have a lot more detail, we will do a much more fine-tuned approximation to make sure everything matches correctly. So I'm going back and moving the eyes, moving the skull, moving the structure. And there are some things that will never match 100%, also because the perspective on the drawing is different from the perspective on ZBrush. But you should be able to get most things really spot on. Also notice that the character is not 100% symmetrical. At this stage we won't worry about symmetry, so we'll keep everything symmetrical. So choose one side of the face and use that side as your guideline. In this case I'm using the right side, and going over and over, tweaking the eyes, tweaking the ears, nose, until everything matches as much as possible with the concept, jumping between the different side views and the 3/4. I also start to notice that the lips are somehow off, and they will need some rework. Also, I'm still not quite happy with the bridge between the lips and the nose, so never worry about going there, cleaning up everything, and starting again from scratch. Something's gonna happen a lot, and well, until you've been able to hit exactly the way it should be, you'll just have to keep going on and on and on. So never worry about starting again and doing drastic changes into your model. Never go too much and get too worried on your details and lose the overall picture. So now this is just a lot more tweaking and smoothing and going over every single area. So I'm gonna skip this part. I'm gonna move to the next chapter, which is the hair. It's also a very crucial part of the character. And then later on we'll come back to the head with a fresh eyes and be able to see what we missed, what mistakes we did. and rework it a bit more. The hair should be the same philosophy as the head. We start with the low res, we move it around based on the concept. Once we're happy with the positioning, we go in and we start adding detail. We should focus on always trying to understand how hair works and see where the strands flow. So the low poly is already following the flow of the hair, and we'll have to do the same with the high poly. So we'll do layer upon layer of strands and then refine them and make sure we get a very nice flow for the hair so it feels realistic and logical. So we push the low cage in, and then we go there and make big strands with big brush strokes, not really worried about where they're going, if they're perfectly correct, but as long as we get the overall shape of the head. Also, I'm not using symmetry because I really want to make the hair very unique. So if we need to, we'll have to do both sides one at a time. I need to make sure that the hair matches correctly and all the strands are flowing in the right direction. Also, we don't have a concept for the right side, so we'll have to improvise a bit. If required, use some concept photos, some real photos, sorry, of real life haircuts and see how the hair would flow on the right side. Once again, the same as the head, using thin brushes, then thick brushes, pinching, and then moving the overall shape. And then smoothing the whole result out. Always make sure you have enough polygons on your mesh to comfortably sculpt around, so you don't get any low res problems where you want to do some detail and there's just not enough polys. So don't worry in subdividing, since we're going to do a normal map out of this, so there's really no problems in terms of performance. Trying to see how the back of the head is going to be. Not sure if it will work or not, but we'll just reiterate, and I'm sure once we have more hairs then I'll be more comfortable in knowing how to do this area. Also save your work constantly and make good use of masks to create strands, so make some selections to simulate strands, draw on them, invert the selection, and keep on cutting until you get a very, very nice result.